Hello and welcome back to That Writer Guy podcast. I am your host, Lyman, and today we are going to do something fun. Now, at the beginning of the podcast journey in episode 2, I go over bad writing advice, and that did garner some interesting comments and feedback, so I thought I would jump back in, but this time with good writing advice. Now, we've all been there with writing, and we are excited, and we have been inundated with all kinds of writing advice from every nook and cranny of the internet world, as well as our own personal world, and it can get overwhelming really fast. And soon, we don't know how to differentiate between what could be bad writing advice and what could be considered good writing advice. I'm here to help in both categories, and this time it's all about good writing advice. We're going to start this one off the right way and with one that is somewhat controversial, and that is just write. It is said that if we want to become better writers, we need to be writing constantly. While some would say this is not true or not possible, I'm going to argue that this is good advice, because while we can't necessarily write all the time, we can write when we have the ability. Writing allows us to use our minds and our creativity to make words and pushes us to learn and adapt. If we go long periods of time without writing, we can actually lose some of our ability and make it even more important, lose the want and will to even continue, if at all. The next is to read. This seems to be an obvious one, but surprisingly, you will find that some authors or those who write simply just don't read. By reading, it allows you to learn more things, learn about what authors are doing right now that are published and what are being successful with. You can learn tricks from reading other author books in the genre you write in, and if you don't read, then you honestly are not going to be the best writer you possibly can be. Every writer was a reader first. Remember that. From when you were a little kid, growing up, the first things that you learned were how to say your alphabet. So everybody was a reader first, no matter who you are. Another that would be good writing advice is joining a writing group. I have found some friends in groups on Facebook and in writing forums, and one of the best groups to join is Writing Fiction, which was started by Brian Paoni, who is the owner and editor of Scout Media. And I do want to let you know that he is a wonderful person. He has branched out and does a lot of different things with the writing group and in writing in general, so definitely wanted to give him a shout out here. Through writing groups, you can get advice, learn from some of those who have done things before you that you're considering doing, and can also find a vast knowledge base when it might be hard to find it otherwise. By joining a writing group, you can glean a lot of information off of people. There's plenty of people to learn from. You can get help with your writing. You can find cover artists, editors, get help with marketing, and everything else in between. Now, by not joining a writing group of any kind will limit your ability to grow and expand yourself as a writer and to gain industry insight in real time instead of finding out through slower means. The next one is hard, and it's something that I've struggled with for a while, and it's ignoring your inner editor. Now, for some of those out there, this is just not possible, and they will never entertain this strange notion of not editing your book while you're writing. But listen to me for a moment as to why this is good advice. Your primary focus when you start writing a book or anything is to get the idea, the story, and your words down so that all can come together. If you ignore the inner editor inside you and just let the words come out, you can find it is possible to not only write more words in a single setting, but the story might find itself going in ways you never thought possible. The editor inside you will scream and want to come out because you are going to make mistakes. You are going to make errors in your word choice. You're going to also even potentially spell words incorrectly. And it's just going to want to come out and just go back, fix things as you're writing. But when the story is done, that is where the editor should be doing its job. And you should be your own editor first. You should take the time, space out when you get done with your writing to when you actually go back in and do your initial first edits. Then once you're done doing your initial first edits, that's when you hire an editor. You should never be the only editor that your book sees. The next that's good writing advice is making a space for you. This is something that I have told many people when they say they are looking at starting to write books, articles, or anything for that matter. You need a space where you can be creative and truly make it yours. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I've known a few people who've taken a closet, emptied it, set up a small table, and that is their private little writing nook. I know others who have had the luxury and the ability to make their own office and library to boot. I have a personal office here. I have to have it because of what I do for work. I work from home. The job requires that I have a specific private space. So I've decided to take that space, utilize it, make it so I can not only just work, but I can also do personal stuff on a personal computer, and I've created a space to also have a nice library as well. Everybody is different, but everything that you do, if you have the special ability to create a space that is dedicated to you, dedicated to writing, if just at least just a space, then make it happen. Now, not everybody can make that happen. Sometimes some people have to be able to write wherever they are. They may not have the space to create a special little nook. They may not have the space to have a dedicated office. Just go in, and if you have at least the ability to create a space for yourself, then do it. The next is don't ramble. This can also be known as don't add fluff. Fluff words are just make the word count bigger, and while we all want to say we wrote that 100,000 word masterpiece, when about 30,000 words can be cut out of it because they just don't add anything to the story or plot, then they just take up space. It's one thing if you have a character that rambles on about nothing and it's in context of the story. It's another thing if you're just adding words to describe something when you could say it with less. Less is more in many cases, and in the case of writing, you should be able to say most things in less words than more. And the last one I'm going to touch on here is you are a writer. If you want to call yourself a writer, act like one, be like one, talk like one, create like one. If you've written it, then you are by definition a writer, and you have published anything, then you are by definition a published writer or author. Talk like one when you are out. Promote your stuff to anyone. I have a shirt that my wife bought me that says, "Ask me about my books." I have another one that says author on it. Don't be afraid or ashamed to be a writer or an author. There should be no reason to be ashamed of what you're doing, and you should absolutely be proud of any and all accomplishments that you've had. A few tips here are regarding good writing advice, and just know that if you are a writer, you have friends in the writing community. Don't be afraid to search for them. You can find them in forums, on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Substack, all kinds of different places to find people. You can even find them in Pinterest groups, and even find people locally through Facebook or other means and share the same love of writing that you do. That is everything I have for this episode. I look forward to speaking with you again on the next episode. In the next episode, we are going to be talking with Josh and Heather Daughtry, and they are the owners of Water Tower Hill Publishing, the publishing house that I am working with to get my first fantasy book series out, and I am super excited to speak with them and learn a little more about the publishing world of things. And I hope you'll join me next time as we get into that. But until then, keep the words flowing, the ideas going, and happy writing.